Welcome to my channel. In this video, I discuss about MSc entrance examination in physics. Today's topics analog electronics. Here I discuss various problem and its solution that can asked in examination. If you not like my video still now, please like and subscribe my channel. Before start my lecture, I want to share with you some important tips about entrance examination. Most of the MSc entrance test in India is between February to June. Before starting with preparation, it is important that students are aware of general exam pattern of top MSc entrance examination in India, that the entrance examination are conducted in the offline mode mainly. Only some important exams such as IIT JAM are conducted as computer based test. Mainly questions that appear in MSc entrance are usually objective MCQ types, and marking scheme for MSc entrance exam in such that 1 to 3 marks are awarded for each correct answer and 0.5 to 1 marks in deducted for each incorrect answer. Therefore, students are recommended to mark their answer very carefully and not to attempt a question if they are unsure of answer. Total number of questions and total marks that a candidate can score is an MSc exam also vary, and the maximum marks of this exam is in the range between 100 to 450. Before starting problems, we want some knowledge about semiconductors. Semiconductors are two types. One is non-degenerate semiconductor, another is degenerate semiconductor. Non-degenerate semiconductors are two types. One is intrinsic semiconductor, another is extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor mainly pure semiconductor, example silicon, germanium. One thing you remember, at room temperature the band gap energy for silicon is 1.12 electron volt and for germanium 0.72 electron volt. That can asked in entrance examination. Another semiconductor is extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor means small doping semiconductor. So what is doping? Doping means to increase the conductivity of the material, we inject some impurities is called doping. So extrinsic semiconductor are two types. Another is p-type semiconductor, another is n-type semiconductor. Now degenerate semiconductor means highly doping semiconductor. We all have some knowledge about PN junction diode. Here we discuss some problems that is important in entrance exam. So one diode is connected with a potential difference 10 volt with a 1 kilo ohm resistance in series, and another resistance 10 kilo ohm which is called load resistance is connected with it. Question asked, find the current in each branch and also find the same if 10 kilo is replaced by 500 gram. Okay, so here given 10 volt, input voltage is 10 volt, resistance, source resistance is 1 kilo ohm, general voltage is 6 volt and load resistance is 10 kilo ohm. So we have a relation load current IL is equal to load voltage by load resistance. Here load voltage is 6 volt and load resistance is 10 kilo ohm. So load current we easily find out IL is equal to 6 by 10 means 0.6 milliampere, and also total current IT is equal to total voltage minus general voltage divided by source resistance. Here total voltage is 10 volt, general voltage is 6 volt, source resistance is 1 kilo ohm. 1 kilo ohm is given. So we can easily find out I total equal to 4 milliampere. 4 milliampere. Okay. So if you know load resistance and total resistance, we easily find out if you find out the load current and total current, then we easily find out the general current. General current equal to total current minus load current. Total current here is 4 milliampere and load current is 0.6 milliampere. So general current equal to 3.4 milliampere. Now another question is given, if 10 kilo ohm, a load resistance 10 kilo ohm, which is replaced by 500 ohm, then what will be happened? Then load current will be 6 divided by half, means 12 milliampere, but total current we know which 4 milliampere, that we calculate previously. So this is not possible. Total current, circuit total current 4 milliampere, but load current 12 milliampere, that is not possible. Then total current equal to load current equal to, here total voltage 10 volt and total resistance 1 kilo ohm, and 10 kilo ohm is replaced by 500 ohm. So VL divided by source plus load resistance equal to 10 divided by 1 plus 500 gram, means 1.5 milliampere. So 6.66 milliampere. And you understand that there is no current in between Zener diode. So Zener diode current is 0. That we understand in first problem. Here second problem, here two Zener diode is connected. One Zener voltage is 5 volt, another Zener voltage is 5 volt, connected with 12 volt supply. And here given total current is 10 milliampere and load resistance is 1 kilo ohm. We find out source resistance, RS. Find RS. So we know total current equal to input voltage minus Zener voltage divided by source resistance. So input voltage is 12 volt minus Zener voltage 5 plus 5 means 10 volt, that will be drop inside Zener diode, and source resistance is 10 kilo ohm. IT is 10, means 10 milliampere. So source resistance is 2 by 10, means 200 ohm. Okay. And another problem, one Zener diode is connected with 10 volt power supply with source resistance 100 ohm with a load resistance 10 kilo ohm. Here is given power. Zener power is half watt, that given. Find IL and IZ. IL means load current and IZ means Zener current. So we know power equal to voltage into current. So Zener voltage given 5 volt Zener voltage. So VZ IZ equal to half power. So IZ equal to 1 by 2 into 5, means 1 by 10 ampere. Okay, that is the Zener current. Now load current. We know load current, total resistance IL, total voltage IL into RL, which is equal to 5, because total 5 voltage, which is equal to load voltage into load current. Load current is given. Now load current we calculate, IL is equal to 5 divided by 10 milliampere. that means 0.5 milliampere. Now another type of problem that can asked in MSc entrance. Suppose one Zener diode is connected with resistance. If we give input voltage like a sine wave, then what is the output voltage? That we calculate. So here the input voltage is sine wave and the diode is connected with this circuit. So we know here given diode voltage is 0.7. So 0.7 volt drop. So after 0.7 there will no current in this circuit. So after 0.7 the curve cut off, and in reverse condition no current, no voltage drop inside it. So total voltage is pass in this circuit. So we can get the curve like this. After 0.7 in forward bias, after 0.7 it's cut off, and in reverse bias total voltage we can get. So here question here in MSc entrance you can see 4 type of answer, like one is after 0.7 it increases, after 0.7 it decreases, like that. You only choose one answer correct, that after 0.7 it cuts off in forward bias, after that it's in reverse bias. And second problem, one resistance is connected with a source and a diode is connected with a voltage source 4 volt. If we give a triangular wave, then what is the output? The voltage of triangular wave is given 12 volt, that see clearly. Okay, so here voltage, here the connection is like forward bias, after that it is here 4 voltage, so total voltage is 4 plus 0.7, that means 4.7 total voltage. So 4 after 4.7 there is no voltage but no current pass through the circuit. So after 4.7 the circuit is cut off in forward bias condition, but in reverse bias condition we get total voltage, we get minus 12 volt, but in forward bias condition we get 4.7 volt. In the same way you calculate when a diode is connected like that, you see clearly here diode is connected in which condition and here diode connected in which condition. Okay, at similar condition you calculate the output curve when a triangular wave is a input wave. Okay, that is the homework, and you all solve this problem and post this problem in comment section. Okay, next that we discuss is rectifier. Rectifier means we convert AC to DC. We can give an example very easily in where in our mobile phone we want DC voltage but our connection is AC. So a mobile charger convert AC voltage to DC voltage. That is the one of the easy example of rectifier. Mainly there are two types of rectifier. One is full wave rectifier, another is half wave rectifier. That asked in a MSc exam, entrance exam, one can ask what is the ripple factor and rectifier efficiency for full wave rectifier and half wave rectifier. That is the important question. I think you always remember for half wave rectifier ripple factor is 1.21 and rectifier efficiency is 40.6%, and for full wave rectifier ripple factor is 0.8483 and rectifier efficiency is 81.2%. One thing you remember, rectifier, if it will be better for us if rectifier efficiency is greater and ripple factor is less. And another thing you always remember, the fundamental frequency in the ripple in a full wave rectifier equal to 2 into main frequency. That can asked an entrance exam. Okay. Now we discuss about transistor. There are mainly two type of transistor, you all know. One is NPN transistor, another is PNP transistor. Okay, and one connection, that emitter base junction always connected in forward bias and collector junction connected in reverse bias. Then transistor will be conducted. Okay, two important point you always remember that can ask in entrance exam, that when NPN transistor used as an amplifier, when NPN transistor used as an amplifier, then holes move from base to emitter. That can asked. It's very important point. You all remember. And in a common base amplifier, the phase between input signal and output signal is 0. That you all remember. Two important points. Now we discuss some problems in transistor which can you get in entrance exam. Suppose one transistor question is given like that in a NPN transistor, two resistance is connected in base portion, one resistance 3.6 is connected in collector portion, and one resistance 1 kilo ohm is connected with emitter section. And question asked, find VCE. VCE means voltage between collector to emitter section, and also calculate the current IB, base current. Okay, and given IE means emitter current, which is nearly equal to IC, is 1.1 milliampere. Okay, that we calculate. Okay, I think this type question is one of the most vital question in entrance examination, because you cannot apply simple transistor problem law. You at first you convert this circuit is an equivalent circuit like that one. Okay, so first we convert this circuit to an equivalent circuit like that, and we calculate voltage, this voltage and this resistance. This voltage we know is called Thevenin voltage, and this resistance is called Thevenin resistance, that you all read in second semester, Thevenin Norton's theorem. And we discussed many times that we know that Thevenin voltage Vt equal to source voltage, that given here 10 volt, into second resistance, if it is R1 it is R2, Vs into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So here source voltage is 10 and second resistance 2.2 divided by 10 plus 2.2. Then we easily get the Thevenin voltage 1.8 volt. So we get Vt 1.8 volt, and also we can calculate Rt equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Here if it is R1 and it is R2, then we can calculate R Thevenin equal to also 1.8 kilo ohm. So we get So we get that circuit, and our aim is to find the VC collected to emitter voltage and IB. IB means base current. So here we used Kirchhoff law, Kirchhoff voltage law. So total voltage in a circuit is VT is equal to IB into RT plus VBE plus IE RE. Okay. One thing you always remember, that for a silicon transistor, VBE, base to emitter voltage, VBE is always constant 0.7 volt, and for germanium it is 0.3 volt. That you always remember. That's not given many times. You just remember and solve this equation. Okay. So we know normally here we used silicon transistor. Suppose here we used silicon transistor. So total voltage 1.8 equal to IB RT plus VB is 0.7, and I current is given 1.1 milliampere, and RE is 1 kilo ohm RE. So kilo milli cancel to each other, so we get 1.1, 0.7. So we easily find out IB is equal to this 0.055 milliampere. Now 0.055 milliampere. Now we use Kirchhoff law at that section. Okay. So VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IERE. So VC is equal to, VCC means 10 volt, that we know, and V10 minus IC means given 1.1 into RC means 3.6 kilo ohm. Milli and kilo cancel to each other, so 3.6 minus into 1.1 minus RE means 1.1. So we calculate VC is 4.94 volt. I think this problem is very conceptual, very important for entrance exam. Now we discuss another important topics, how we convert a pi network to T network. I think this is one of the important topics for can get one question from this portion, and you can solve this portion if you remember these tricks very easily. Suppose this is pi network. See pi, here impedance ZA, this impedance if we call ZB, this impedance if we call ZC, and here this is Z1, Z2, Z3. This is T, like T. Okay. So when we convert one pi network to T network, how you convert? You always remember this is Z1, this is ZB, this is ZC, this is the impedance, and we convert it through Z1, Z2, Z3 T network. So you remember Z1 is equal to ZA ZB, ZA ZB divided by ZA plus ZB plus ZC. Very easy. So Z2 is equal to ZB ZC divided by ZA plus ZB plus ZC, and Z3 impedance equal to ZC ZA divided by ZA plus ZB plus ZC. So next, if we convert T to pi network, if some question is given, one T network is given and told that you convert in pi network, then you can use this rule. Here Z1, Z2, Z3 is given, we calculate ZA, ZB, ZC very easily. So ZA is equal to Z1, Z2 plus Z2, Z3 plus Z1, Z3 divided by ZA means Z2. Okay. ZB means upper portion is same, so lower portion is Z3, and ZC is equal to Z1, Z2 plus Z2, Z3 plus Z3, Z1 divided by Z1. So how you remember? You always remember that when we convert T to pi network, then upper portion is same, Z1, Z2 plus Z2, Z3 plus Z3, Z1 divided by ZA means next part 2, B means Z3, C means Z1 next. Similarly, here you can remember in this process Z1 is equal to, the lower portion is same, ZA, ZB, ZC plus upper portion where here you use Z1, Z1 means ZA, ZB, Z2, ZB, ZC, Z3, ZC, ZA. Okay, here I give you one problem. Here this is pi network. So this is 5 ohm, this is 2 ohm, and this is 3 ohm. We convert it in T network. So what is the rule? At first we discuss how we convert pi to T network. How? Now we just convert it Z1. We find out Z1, Z2, Z3. Here this is ZA, this is ZA, this is ZB, this is ZC. Then we easily find out Z1, Z2, Z3. So this is, and then draw a circuit like that. That is the conversion from pi to T network. Okay. So this problem you solve and answer in comment section. Now we discuss another important topics, oscillators. There are mainly 4 type of oscillators: Colpitts oscillator, Wien-Bridge oscillator, phase shift oscillator, or Hartley oscillator. Okay, and using oscillator we can calculate the gain. And one thing you remember, output voltage gain or closed loop gain in an amplifier, AVF equal to AV divided by 1 minus beta AV, where AV is equal to amplifier of open loop voltage gain and beta is feedback factor. And you remember, if beta AV, this portion beta AV is real and negative, then minus 1 is a plus, so this is greater than 1, hence this is greater than 1, that means it's always less than AVF. So we can get a negative feedback or degenerative type feedback. Okay, so we always remember, for positive feedback, relation of AVF equal to AV by 1 minus beta AV, and for negative feedback, this is negative means minus 1 is a plus, so AV divided by 1 plus beta AV. And also they can ask, what is the oscillatory frequency for Hartley oscillator, Wien-Bridge oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, phase shift oscillator, that they can ask. So if you directly remind this equation, F is equal to 1 by 2 pi root over C into L1 plus L2 for Hartley oscillator, Wien-Bridge oscillator, F is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC, Colpitts oscillator, F is equal to 1 by 2 pi root over of L into C1 C2 divided by C1 plus C2, and phase shift oscillator, F is equal to 1 by 2 root 10 into pi into RC. Actually I write this equation directly because you all read clearly in 4th semester this 4 oscillator very carefully, I know. That's why I just read this equation only. Okay, you remind this equation, remember this equation, that how if L and C is given, then for Hartley oscillator how you calculate oscillator frequency, for Colpit, for phase shift, for Wien bridge oscillator how you calculate oscillatory frequency. In my next lecture I discuss about digital electronics and also discuss about operational amplifier, which is very vital portion that I think you must get one problem in MSc entrance from operation amplifier, and also we discuss some problem about digital electronics that we discuss in my next lecture. Thank you. If you like this video, then please subscribe my channel for new videos.